What is up, my friends? Good evening to you all. I know it's a little bit earlier than normal, but that is, of course, because we are going to be conducting is the right word, I believe, a watch-along of Arsenal's game against Newcastle from 7:30, so hence why we're on a little bit earlier this evening. Loads for us to get through ahead of tomorrow. Maurico Pochettino has already been crying about the referees ahead of the game. Good for him to get the excuses in early. We'll be talking about the most expensive ticket I've ever heard of for the Premier League, and a few other bits and pieces as well. I hope you're all having a great, what day is it? Saturday. Yeah, Saturday. All I know is it's the eve of the cup final. I don't keep track of days. They're for you regular humans. For us, at the very tippity top, the cutting edge of work. Well, I don't know where I'm going with this. Again, backing myself into a corner. How are we though? Are we good? Nice to see you in, Roger, CD Salva, Colin Brooks, Philip. Appreciate you. Is De Bruyne injured again or just rested? He's been rested for the last couple of games, but I think De Bruyne is at the very end of his career at this point, and I think injuries are catching up with him. And I do think that's why you're seeing Manchester City start to look for the likes of Paqueta or potential De Bruyne replacements down the line, as impossible as that's going to be. Maybe they're just holding him up for the big games. Has anybody seen Manchester United? Hi, Ben. United, huh? God, they were... last I seen, Mark, they were 1-1. And everybody was believing that they were going to go on to win the game because they're a Poundland version of us. Now, I can't recollect quite how that Fulham game... I presume if they're trying to replicate us, they went on to win 2-1 United, right? And that they're on this... Oh, no, they got beaten. Oh, and an Everton reject scored against them as well. And an Arsenal reject. Huh. But I thought they were back. You know, top four was on. They turned a corner. Ten Hag's a genius. No? I didn't get the memo, sorry. I'm a little bit behind. It is great to see though, isn't it? You see, they got their equaliser from the human Punko doll that is Harry Maguire. And then they kept going on and on and on. They were, oh, we're going to go win the game. Yeah, United. And then, doom, 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 do, 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 do. That's what I heard. How are we? Are we good? Are we ready for the final tomorrow? Don't forget, it is a 3 p.m. kickoff, so we will be live from an hour beforehand to take you right through. I'm looking forward to catching up with Ben at 7:30. I know you're watching in the background, Ben, and don't you worry, dude. I've got hundreds, if not thousands, of banter-fulfilled moments for you to enjoy. Is that the right word, Ben? Right, look, let's get stuck into it. So, Paul Joyce last night tweeted something that had us all a little bit confused, but again, when you break it down, probably makes some sense. He said, Mohamed Salah, Darwin Núñez and Dominic Szoboszlai are significant doubts for Sunday. Well, we kind of knew that already, in fairness. I don't really have any expectation of Szoboszlai being involved, but I do hope we see Mohamed Salah's name at least, in the starting 11 and Darwin on the bench. That's my hope for tomorrow. Alex Iwobi, a football legend, said Rabadan. A football legend indeed, sir. A football legend. Do you know what, though? We have to take a moment here to just enjoy Onana's part in the goal, because he was brilliant. The way he just looked at that ball going into the bottom corner there. If that isn't presence, if that isn't goalkeeping ability, I don't know what is. You know, he didn't bother wasting time or energy to dive for it. No, he's an economical dude, isn't he? He just stood there and looked as the ball went into the corner. That's why you pay the big bucks and get rid of David De Gea, who, only gave multiple great years of service. But you bring in Onana for that level of ability. Do, 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 do. You're the best, Craig. Boston loves you. We love that. We love Boston. And speaking of Boston, you know what you've done, right? You've just got me ready to say, Boston, we are going to be at your gaff, as they say over here in Ireland. 22nd of March at the Foundation Room in the Citizens House of Blues. I say Citizens, that's the name of the sponsors on it, but we're there to show up to remove any resemblance of Citizen Blues. We're here to show the Reds are taking over. So love to see you guys if you're in that neck of the woods. Don't forget, tickets on Ticketmaster, or you can reach out to Team Anfield Agenda and we will gladly point you in the right direction. How long is Thiago out for? I don't know. How long have I been bald for? How long have I been shaving my head? Mate, Thiago's out until he's back and injured again. That's what's going to happen. So I wouldn't get your hopes up. And look, I don't mean to say that to be derogatory towards Thiago, but look, let's be honest, that's what's going to happen. Because that is, unfortunately, always what happens. We get the hype, we get that he's looking great in training, and he comes in, a couple of sideways movements, a little shake of the hips, and then he's out for 3 months. That's the way this works. So unfortunately, we will... I'm not relying on... I said it months and months ago, by the way. Go back and watch. I said I certainly wouldn't be hanging my hat on Thiago being part of our journey this season. I'm just... honestly, at this point, as bad as this sounds, I'm counting down the minutes and the clock until we can get rid of some players off the wage books that are... I'm not going to say they're stealing a living, because nobody wants to be injured. And I'm not that much of a scumbag, but it's not great when you've got somebody on 200 grand a week that has played 10 minutes of football since last April, maybe. That's a lot of money that's going out. But look, that's where you sign a contract. It's just not great for us, is it? Is Poch whining already? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. He is indeed, yes. And of course, we will take you through it. Basically, Pochettino saying that the referees are getting involved in the goodbye tour, the farewell tour for Mr. Jurgen Klopp. Now, I don't know if Poch didn't get the memo, but we aren't exactly overly fond of Paul Tierney. So Pochettino saying that we were getting everything at Anfield, every 50-50. He was deludedly thinking they should have had 2 nailed on penalties. They had one that was 50-50, the other one never a penalty. And Paul Tierney, if you know anything about Liverpool and our relationship with Mr. Paul Tierney, we ain't exactly overly fond of him ourselves. That was probably the one game in, the last 10 that Tierney's refereed us that I actually felt like the man did a decent job. But Pochettino feels like we get every decision. I think the one Pochettino really has a gripe with, though, is John Brooks, the VAR, who, coincidentally enough, is going to be the VAR tomorrow at the in the League Cup Final. So, look, this is an age-old tactic. We see it all the time. Ferguson used to deploy it. Rafa would deploy it. It's as old as time. Manager wants to get in the referee's head and make them second guess themselves and make them feel like they have to overcompensate their decision making to make it fairer. Don't care. He's just crying, and I love it, and more of it. I know he goes on to compliment Liverpool and all that, which is fair enough, but just shut the fuck up. Basically, Poch, is what I'm getting at here. So, Liverpool Football Club are currently conducting an internal review of football operations, including taking another look at the multi-club model and whether they should move into that sphere. That's a report that came out today. Now, John W. Henry owning multiple football clubs doesn't really scream to me that they'll be looking out for Liverpool Football Club. I know that when you've got a group of clubs, you're usually at the top of that pyramid, but it's also a distraction for the footballing operations, because at the moment we don't really have the personnel at Liverpool that we would ideally want. A new sporting director needs to come in, obviously a new manager, a new coaching team, and I'm sure there are other internal roles at the club that need to be filled out. So I wish John W. Henry would just stop trying to buy up every team in the world and focus on the crown jewel in his sporting empire, which is, of course, Liverpool Football Club. FSG gone soon, I beg. I don't think they will. I think, as John W. Henry has said himself, I believe, what have they sold? They don't really start offloading assets, do they? They look to add more to them. Now, disappointingly, it's expected that John W. Henry will not be at Wembley for the Cup Final tomorrow. And I think, if that is the case, I think that tells you once again everything you need to know. If we're all buying into the last dance, the farewell tour, the give it all for Jurgen before he departs, and we are all invested in that in every way, surely the same type of buy-in, the same type of leadership should be shown from the owners of the football club. This is potentially Jurgen's last final. Now, we believe, of course, we'll get to the League Cup final or hopefully go further in the FA Cup, but ultimately, guaranteed this is a final that Jurgen, could lift the trophy with the club, and we don't know what the future holds. And the reports are that John W. Henry won't be there. That, again, to me is bullshit. And I don't like to see it. You want your owner there. You want your owner to be involved in it. And they are missing in action far too often. I don't understand why some people love FSG. I could tell you the answer, but I'd get in a whole lot of trouble. Yeah. So I'm going to just bite my tongue on it. Now, look, I don't hate FSG. I just don't trust them. I will always give the owners credit for the stuff they do well. And let's be frank, they've done a lot of stuff well. But the Super League, I'm never ever getting away from that. Ever. There's no shucks, I'm sorry, let me sit here in front of a vase of yellow flowers with the camera down upon me looking all frail and, oh shucks, I'm sorry. Didn't buy it, John. Didn't buy it then, not buying it now. Just stop. But some people bought it, because some people, I don't know what some people expect. I don't know, maybe we've all got different ideals of what we want from owners, and there are some people who seem to have a hard-on for FSG's miserly ways, is how I'm going to call it. I'm not one of those people. I think they should and can do more for the football club. Liverpool supporter from South Africa, love the content. Thank you for bringing joy. And man, thank you for watching. Great to have you with us. Appreciate you. Thank you, sir. Much love to our friends in South Africa. I think South Africa, I think I've mentioned this before, I think you guys are the fourth highest on the list of countries from people that view the channel, so I appreciate your support. Let's give Xabi Alonso his flowers for a moment here, and of course, Bayer Leverkusen. Last night's victory over Mainz meant that they have now set a Bundesliga record. 33 consecutive matches in all competitions unbeaten, which is a record for a German side. So give the man and the club their dues. Fair play to Bayer Leverkusen, fair play to Alonso and those Leverkusen players. That's a tremendous record. One that I'm sure he'll look to improve on when he comes to Liverpool. Yeah, I said it. You all think it as well. Jeffrey, Zambia's in the house. How are we, man? Welcome in. David, Zimbabwe. Nice. Welcome in, all of you. It's a pleasure to be with you. Lots of countries there I hope to visit in the future, in all honesty. This is the only title this season Chelsea are in for, but I'd say Liverpool will probably 1-1. I don't know what Liverpool will probably 1-1 means, but they're also in the FA Cup. Let's not forget that, Chelsea. They did very well to go to Villa Park and knock out Villa in the replay. So, give them their credit. They're still in both domestic cup competitions. I don't know, still don't know how I feel ahead of tomorrow. I'm kind of just ghosting through the day. Honestly, until I see the team sheet, I don't really know how to feel about tomorrow. You hope that by the end of the day you see Virgil van Dijk lifting that trophy, but you don't want to count your chickens. You have to earn the right to win the trophy, and finals are usually tetchy affairs. So it'd be nice if we go out and steamroller them. That would be delicious, but let's wait and see what happens. It's how are you guys feeling about it? Are you optimistic ahead of tomorrow? Are you unsure because of you don't know who's available? And also, we don't know which Chelsea will show up. I was reading some articles earlier on today where they spoke about, I think it was Raheem Sterling and I think it was Gusto, but I could be wrong. They were speaking about learning from what happened at Anfield, understanding Liverpool players' movements a lot more and working on specific things on the training ground. The thing is, though, I wonder if they realise that Liverpool will tweak things as well, because our personnel is going to be different. One of the things I read up on that, I've got to be honest, I didn't realise, but this is why I guess, you watch things back and read up on it. The tweak that Jurgen Klopp made when Elliott was asked to play in the half space to allow Conor Bradley to get round the outside, I think in the second half against Luton Town, if you look at it, Elliott started to get a little bit more narrow, play between the 6-yard box and the edge of the 18-yard box in that area, allowing Conor Bradley to get on the overlap, and that seemed to create more opportunities for us. I would love to give credit to, it was either the Athletic or the Echo I was reading this on, I can't remember which one. But it was interesting because I've got to say, I did not notice that initially. But when you get these things pointed out to you, it is good to see. It's always difficult to see tactical tweaks when you're watching stuff on TV. It's a lot easier when you're in the stand, you're looking down, you can see these things, the intricacies of what the managers are doing. But interesting to see that there was that little tactical tweak, and it certainly paid dividends. Anxious and excited, said John Power. Buddha said very nervous. Shadow said 2-0 victory. Nice hoodie, Craig. Red, what about tomorrow? Not blue, right? No, I'm going grey. I can tell you that already. I'm going grey tomorrow. Grey Adidas hoodie. Can't remember if it's the one with black stripes or white stripes, but that will be the attire for the League Cup Final. So there you go. What else we got? 3-0 Liverpool, said Jamie Yule. Colin said, to be fair, I'm not too fussed. No points, injuries. Well, I wouldn't say I'm not too fussed. I mean, it's a final. You always want to win a final. But I do get where you're coming from. I think whilst we have the injury concerns we do, if we can find a way to lift the cup, I feel like it'll give us a bit of positive momentum. Not that we already don't have that, but it would really, I think, help energise and galvanise the players more so than they already are. Because say what we want, to manage as well as we have with 9-10 injuries, it's incredible. And, you know, the managers and the players and the coaches, they deserve immense credit for the way they've been able to hang in this season. And this is the business end right now. And, you know, we have some difficult games to navigate. That victory against Luton Town was great. The victory away against Brentford was great. Now we've got to hopefully do the job against Chelsea and then focus midweek on an FA Cup game against Southampton. But then it's Nottingham Forest. So we need to get to the City game with our points intact. That's basically where I'm getting at with this long-winded monologue. Any updates on Núñez and Salah? Nope, not that I've seen today, Matthew. It's all quiet on the Western Front, mate. I'm just reading something Mark sent to me here from Sam Wallace of The Telegraph. Liverpool have identified Ruben Amorim and Julian Nagelsmann as potential alternatives should the club be unable to persuade their chief target, Xabi Alonso, to take the job in the summer. Now, so do you ever get the feeling that maybe some of these guys, I don't know, listen to yours truly? Because regular viewers of the channel will know. For the past week, that's exactly what I've been saying. Xabi Alonso, Ruben Amorim, Julian Nagelsmann, in that order. That's been what I've been talking about for the last week. You'll know that, but it's good to see that common sense is prevailing, because they are, in my opinion, the three best fitting candidates for the job. But Nagelsmann, I'm still on the fence a little bit about Nagelsmann, but I do like the idea of Amorim being the second choice at this moment in time behind Alonso. But honestly, I hope we don't get to that point, because I can't speak for everybody, but for me, if you're dividing that up, you're going 60% Alonso, 25% Amorim, 15% Nagelsmann. That would be the way I'd be looking at it. You know, it's a big drop off for me if you don't get Alonso. Craig, I got a red Champions League hoodie because guess who's going to be champions? Well, you said champions hoodie. Sorry, I threw the word league in there. That's my bad. Will you wear it, sir? You wear it with pride. I hope we will be champions. I have the Manchester City game on in the background here, by the way. It's still Bournemouth 0, Manchester City 1. There was something I wanted to read out. I was looking forward to actually this earlier on. What was it? Oh, okay. So I want to talk about ticket prices just for a little moment. Football is losing its damn mind. Football is losing its damn mind. Tickets to watch Lionel Messi and Argentina compete in this summer's Copa America are being sold for more than $21,000 a day after the pre-sale started. $21,000. And you might say to me, but Craig, that's on the secondary market. And, you know, people pay these things because Messi's career is short. Okay, I'll take that and I'll raise you Todd Bowley. And Todd Bowley, why, Todd's just rechanged the game. He said, Chelsea set a new Premier League high by charging... Are you ready for this? Sit down. If you're not sitting down, sit down. Maybe get a glass of water and a whiskey on standby. Chelsea set a new Premier League high by charging £5,000 for one ticket when Manchester United come to Stamford Bridge. Let me read that line out again. Chelsea will set a new Premier League high by charging £5,000 for one ticket when Manchester United come to play. I would want Ten Hag serving me my chicken goujons, and I would want those Chelsea players twerking as they walk by me, high-fiving me and giving me their jerseys as they leave the pitch. Are you mad, Todd? Are you mad? I don't care if that's corporate or whatever. That is insanity. They're also charging £3,000 for the game against Spurs and over £2,000 for the FA Cup match against Leeds from the fucking Championship. 2,000 English pounds to watch Leeds take on Chelsea in the FA Cup with this maximum price ticket. Are you insane? What on earth? Whoever pays these, you're the problem. You are the problem. I don't care if it's a corporate ticket. You're the problem with football. £5,000 to watch those shower of shit you-know-whats stroll around the football pitch on their 10-year contracts. Pass. That's more than someone's monthly wage. £5,000 to be a decent monthly wage. £5,000, and I'm being honest here, is more than my monthly wage. It's a good bit more than my monthly wage. You're probably laughing at me, but I do take a salary, and that is certainly significantly north of what I take. This is not the Super Bowl. No, it's not. And I don't know. Michaela Mudryk is no Patrick Mahomes either. 5 Gs. That's crazy. Honestly, I find it mad. Like, yes, we all know football's expensive. And yes, we all know they won't be the standard tickets. But £5,000 to go to Stamford Bridge to watch this shite that they play. Wow. What's the best game Liverpool have played this season in your opinion? So we were kind of split on this, Giovanni, the other day. We did have a conversation about it. A lot of people were saying 3 games kind of came up. The 4-3 against Fulham. The 2-1 against Newcastle, the Darwin game. But I like the 4-1. The one that Pochettino's crying about. I like that game at Anfield. Because remember, if my memory's right, that was the first game, or certainly the first home game, after Jurgen made his announcement that he'd be leaving in the summer. So, to respond from that news with that 4-1 whooping. And remember, Darwin hit the crossbar 4 times, or the post 4 times in that game. And Pochettino still whinging about referee decisions, sorting it out. It could have been 7 or 8-1. I don't know what he's getting at. He just needs to shut up, honestly. But, yeah, one of those 3 are probably the answer. Liverpool coming to Philadelphia. I'll spend up to $200 for a ticket, to Jared Nolan. So yeah, we discussed this yesterday. Liverpool are coming to, I believe, if my memory's right, it's Philadelphia for the Arsenal game on July 31st. And then it was South Carolina, if my memory's right, for the Manchester United game 4 or 5 days later. Now, I've got to say, I love that the club do these things, go on the pre-season tours, but there's a side of it I don't like, and I'm going to be honest about this again, because that's the joy of what I do, is I can give my honest opinion without having to worry if John W. Henry is going to be crying into his muesli. So, I love what the club do with the local supporters clubs. I love what they do with their local partners, and I love how much access they give fans when they go on these American tours or Asian tours. I think it's brilliant. What I don't think is brilliant are the ticket prices. They're insane. And you get sold the dream and the vision of watching Liverpool play Arsenal or Liverpool play Manchester United, and you get shown the highlights of all the great games over the years and all this stuff. But ultimately, it's going to be just above walking pace. It's going to be at a time where a lot of the first teamers may not be there because they will have finished at the Euros and be on holiday, or only coming back and won't be sharp enough to start. And I feel like you get robbed, you get ripped off. And I feel bad for fans in parts of the world that, you've got Liverpool coming to your city or close to you and you want to go and see them. But I don't hold the club solely responsible for that, because to the best of my understanding, these type of tours are usually have a promoter in the middle of them who would guarantee a certain amount for the clubs. And then it's up to them, I guess, to get the cost back. But you guys, the fans, end up getting shafted and getting an inferior product for inflated prices. And, that doesn't sit right with me. But, as I've said, the access the club give, the ability for the fan clubs to be able to interact and meet players, that's amazing. And the club deserve all the credit for that. But I don't like the ticket prices. South Carolina and one stayed up. Wonder if I could make it. I'll give you the exact dates, mate. I do have them here from yesterday. Bear with me. I'm just going through my notes from yesterday so I can give you the exact. So Liverpool will return to America for the pre-season tour this summer to face Arsenal and Manchester United in friendlies. Liverpool will fly to the States in late July and will come up against Mikel Arteta's Arsenal at Lincoln Financial Field Stadium in Philadelphia on the 31st of July, before a glamorous and lucrative friendly with Eric Ten Hag's Manchester United at the Williams-Brice Stadium in Columbia, South Carolina on August the 3rd. So they're the confirmed dates for the two games in America that we know are taking place. No worries, man. No worries. Appreciate you. So what do we think tonight, by the way, the Arsenal-Newcastle game? Anybody holding out hope for Newcastle to do us a favour? Because I was looking at the league table. Obviously, we know where our Arsenal situation is, but Newcastle have to try and keep check with the race for those places in the Champions League. And at the moment, you'd say Villa, Spurs, probably fighting for those 4th and 5th spots. United, I think, let me have a look at the league table actually. I think, what's the gap now for United there? 1 second. So United now have a 3-point deficit over Spurs, who have a game in hand, and 8 points over Aston Villa, who are currently in 4th. So Newcastle need to win, basically, is what I'm getting at. But I don't see how they'll do it, because between injuries and stuff and Arsenal being in great form, I can only see an Arsenal win tonight. But we'll cover the game anyway. 1-0 Bayern, people are saying in the chat. Who scored the Bayern goal? If you don't mind, Harry Kane. Of course it was Harry Kane. I shouldn't have even had to ask the question. United ain't getting Champions League. I don't think so either. And I thought once again we see the media only too willing to make Manchester United out to be something that they aren't. They spoke about a run of games that they went on, and fair play. But as soon as Hoyland's unavailable, the wheels come off yet again. And that tells you one thing, that they're a fair weather team, that they haven't got the strength in depth, that they haven't got the ability, that they haven't got the quality of players yet, and that they are frauds, basically, is what I'm getting at. They're nowhere near the calibre of the teams above them. Spurs are a far better side this season than United. Villa are a far better side this season than United. And I would go as far as to say United's place in the league table is probably even a little bit inflated, because they are really, really poor. Like, not haha, you're a Liverpool fan taking the piss out of United. I get it. But they're really poor. Like, terrible. So Ben's sending me stuff that I've already read out on stream, but thank you for that, Ben. Again, Sam Wallace, isn't it, from The Telegraph, saying that Liverpool have identified Ruben Amorim and Julian Nagelsmann as potential alternatives should they not be able to prize Xabi Alonso away from Leverkusen. So for me, and I think we discussed this last night, at this point for me, Bayern aren't even in the race for Xabi Alonso. It'll be either he stays at Leverkusen or comes to Liverpool. And here's what I don't want to believe, or what I refuse to believe. If he wins the Bundesliga with Bayer Leverkusen, which he looked very, very likely to do. I was watching the game earlier on, and nobody's ever overturned an 8-point deficit at this stage of a Bundesliga campaign, according to the German football experts I was listening to. And so they win the Bundesliga, right? What does he do then? You know, and he's got the DFB Pokal as well. I think they're at home in their next round of that. And of course, the Europa League still there. They've got Carabao, who they've already beaten twice, I think, in the group stages. So you'd expect them into the quarterfinals. I don't think Alonso's naive enough to think that he will be able to replicate that again next year with that team. And that's why I think it's the correct time for him to exit stage left, because then he goes out a hero. If he wins 2 of the 3 trophies that he's in for this year, he'll leave there having peaked. If you stay, I think your stock only starts to stabilise or go down unless you replicate again and you go into the Champions League next year and do some damage there. But I don't know. I just think if he wins the league, it just confirms in my mind that he'll be the next Liverpool manager. It doesn't make it less likely in my head. A capitulation and them not winning the league would worry me a lot more, because then I think he's going to want to put it right, and maybe he stays there to out of a sense of respect and duty. But if he does it, surely he leaves. Makes sense to me anyway, but I am biased, so I probably would. Do you think Bayer Leverkusen go unbeaten in the Bundesliga? I don't know. And that's like, I hope they do. I'd certainly love them to. Be brilliant. You know, those Leverkusen fans, for all the taunting they've got over the years, being called Bayer Neverkusen and all this kind of stuff. If you can win the league title and seal it with a perfect or, you know, an unbeaten season, I mean, that's a huge, huge statement to make. So yeah, I hope they do it, but I don't know, is the honest answer. Usually once you get to the point of winning the league, if you've got games to spare, it's only natural sometimes that the intensity drops a little bit, or you start to look ahead to the latter stages of the Europa League and adjust your squad. So it's tough. It's tough to do. As we know, it's only been done once in the Premier League. What did Pochettino say? He was basically giving out about the referees and saying that when we played Chelsea at Anfield, that Paul Tierney, of all people, was very favourable towards Liverpool, and every 50-50 went their way, and Chelsea were robbed of 2 stonewall penalties. And I don't know if anybody told Pochettino, because I'm sure he knows, but the same VAR that wasn't buying his players diving and rolling around the ground at Anfield, John Brooks, he's going to be the same VAR that's going to take charge of the game tomorrow. So, you know, bring the tissues, Poch. Bring the tissues. What's the City score? 1-0 to City with half an hour and stoppage time to go. Oh my God. That's... So, Ben just said... no, Mark just sent me this, and it's from a guy called Scott Thornton, who said, Manchester United have conceded 100 shots across 5 Premier League games in 2024. Manchester City have conceded just 197 all season. These are the type of stats that I love. Yeah, more of those, please. 100 shots in 5 games. Special play stats. I think we should get rid of Ten Hag's contract and give him tenure at Manchester United. You know, job for life. You know, like the college professors you get at like Yale, Harvard, and some of these big institutions around the world. They get tenure. They get a job for life, basically. I'm on board. Give Ten Hag the job for life. Because, it's what the media want, because they've been telling us United are back now, right? They're, Champions League, zoning in. How'd you get on against Fulham at home, lads? Oh, that's right, you lost. But you got a little bit cocky when you got to 1-1, didn't you? When Maguire scored, thinking, here comes. We're going to pull a Liverpool. But you got your pants pulled down. That's what happened. Craig, tomorrow's a serial winner versus a serial bottler. Only one winner. Up the pool. Well, to be fair, Chelsea have bought a few things over the years as well. But so here's what I don't believe. I don't believe that you can turn things on and off. So I don't believe that it's the same Chelsea that were steamroller by us and that have been up and down and playing mixed football this season are going to be able to just flick a switch and become mentality monsters, and everybody pulling for each other and everybody knowing their jobs and everybody having the fighting spirit. I think the first sign of any problems and they capitulate, and that's if they don't start the diving around, feigning, cheating shite that we've seen when they were at Anfield. How are City playing? I've got no idea. I'm not watching the game. I'm just keeping the score on in the background. Who remembers at Stamford Bridge when Nicholas Jackson smacked the ball out of play for a corner and it was on target? I don't know. I don't remember. Nessie said, Ten Hag should stay much longer than my membership. 7 months. I agree. Now, we did say this yesterday as well, not to keep talking about United, but Ineos are going to conduct a full review of the football operations. And I don't know, does anybody think Ten Hag will be in charge of Manchester United at the start of next season? I don't. So we asked you guys for your predictions in the cup final tomorrow. Chelsea win, Liverpool win, Chelsea win on penalties, or Liverpool win on penalties. And so far, 92% have been split between Liverpool winning and Liverpool winning on penalties, with 2% thinking Chelsea win on penalties. They're 11-1 to win on penalties, by the way, if anybody does fancy it, because Jones knows on Sky that was his prediction, was for Chelsea to win on penalties. Yes, let's get a poll, Ben, if you can, in the background on Ten Hag. Will he be there at the start of next season, if you can hear me, Benjamin? Chelsea have spent more money in 1 year than Liverpool in 10 years. I know. And seemingly still have the ability to spend more. So what I want to know is, and I think this is a fair question for the footballing public, if Chelsea get into the Europa League or the Europa Conference League, because unless the Premier League change their rules to be in line with UEFA, UEFA's FFP system won't apply to Chelsea until they're back in Europe. So if they get into a lower tiered European competition, surely they're going to have to start selling off players, because there's no way that you can pass the FFP with what they've done, with spending £1 billion in 18 months. It can't, surely there's no fucking way it can happen. It has to be, they have to be held accountable for that, surely. Now, if they don't get into Europe, then they have to satisfy the Premier League's one, which currently stands as 105 million losses over 3 years, but they are looking to vote to go in line with Europe. Looking forward to the watch along. Come on the Reds. Thank you, Tom. Just a reminder, we'll be live from 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Can we have more food talk on top of the league again? Well, probably. Tuck may, probably. In between us making Ben cry, yes, we can have some food talk. Maybe Ben might need some comfort food after today's capitulation. So I'm going to get the poll up, because I don't think he heard me. Or he's busy doing something else. So what was the poll again? What was the poll? Oh, yeah. There's the poll. Vote away. I'm genuinely intrigued to see your answers to this, by the way. Ooh. 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 Bournemouth came very close there. City cleared it off their line from a header. It's a new financial year in Chelsea. This is why Chelsea can spend. They still have to account for... yeah, that definitely did not go over the line, by the way. They still have to account for losses and stuff. You can't just say it's a new year every year and I can keep spending money. You still have the same rolling 3-year period to keep track of. Who wrote Ken Lasso? Hi, I'm Craig and I'm a shithouse. You know me, I have to have a little bit of fun. I can't be all seriousness. You wrote Ken Lasso. I know. You don't need to tell me, dude. I typed it out. Come on now. You didn't expect me not to have a little bit of fun. Firmino brace in the Saudi League. Yeah, good. Good for Bobby. I know he was on a long streak, wasn't he, before last week or something. But yeah, well done, Bobby. I don't think he will, but I would like him to keep up his good work. So there he is, 100 million. Jackie Grealish still on the bench for Manchester City. So what is it about Manchester clubs having 100 million quid wingers that they can just throw on the bench and nobody talks about it? Because we get to listen to the Darwin shit all the time and the man's doing numbers. Not a lot of talk about Grealish sitting on the bench and Anthony sitting on the bench. You know, not much talk about that. Or Casemiro being a £70 million disgrace. Did you see him today? His lack of actual defensive midfield awareness at times was hilarious as he was just strolling around the pitch. Oh, Leipzig have scored. Oh. Leipzig have scored. It's getting closer. So, does he even see out the season? If they don't pick up a win today, they're going to be in serious trouble. Like, that's what now going to give them a 9-point lead? 10-point lead? 10-point lead. I don't know. Do you think B-Tech Klopp sees out the season there? What do you think on the situation with Alonso? I think he'll be the next Liverpool manager. I genuinely do. Look, I get that everything that's written and said, Liverpool have to be respectful of Leverkusen. He doesn't want to make a decision. I get all that. But I still think he will become the next Liverpool manager. 11. No, it's 11 now. If they get a point, they'll put it back to 10. It was 11 before the game, and Bayern are about to get a point, so that'll make it 10. Who deserves the Golden Boot in the Premier League this season? Whoever scores the most goals. I mean, sorry for stating the bleeding obvious, but whoever puts the ball in the net the most times. It'll probably be Haaland, but I don't really mind. I'd rather we talk about who wins the Premier League, and that's the trophy I'm looking for. I don't really care about individual accolades. Am I excited for tomorrow? Nervous, Yorkshire tea, is probably more. Excited and nervous, yes. You know, it'll be a lovely evening if we get over the line. And do you know what? I'm intrigued to see what a Virgil van Dijk trophy lift would look like. You know, we become accustomed to the Hendo Shuffle, but I don't know what a trophy looks like. Sam, have you had a stroke? Sam, do you want to get Mammy? Do you need to get Mammy to help, Sam? Have you poo-pooed your panties? You seem to be having a bit of a problem with your keyboard there, Sam. It's okay, mate. You know, it'll all be all right. Don't worry. Mammy will come in and make the monsters go away. Xabi won't go to Bayern because he knows he'd wipe out his entire Leverkusen legacy. And because it's just not the right move. Like, why would you go to Bayern? You know, you've just defeated them to the title. Your stock is at an all-time high. You're expected to go into Bayern and win the league anyway. So if you don't do that, your stock falls. It's just not a clever decision. Coming to Liverpool is the clever decision. And he's not a silly man. So, you know, I think that's what happens. I'd be really shocked if he stays at Leverkusen, but I'd also kind of have a bit of a weird respect for the decision if that's what he made. I'd be devastated as a Liverpool fan, but I'd find it very hard to be critical of somebody for being loyal. You know, that's not in my makeup, but you know, let's wait and see. Hopefully he goes out on a high with a league title, a German Cup and a runners-up medal in the Europa League. Craig, I heard some Arsenal fans saying Saka is better than Salah and Son. Do I agree? Why do we have to put up with this shite? Honestly, you know, of course he's not better than Salah. Saka will tell you that himself if you ask him. Look, Arsenal fans have every right to get excited about where they are and their own players and all this crap, but it's too early to be trying to compare Saka to Mohamed Salah. He's a great young player. You know, will score loads of goals, will have a great career and all this, but come on now. It's just silliness. One of them has been part of a team that's won everything, and the other one plays for Lego Head. So, nah. Honestly, if you offered me, and you removed age, like if you removed age out of all of this, I think in order, Salah, Son, Saka. That's would be my yard measuring stick. But Saka has time on his side. You know, he hasn't got near his peak yet, and you know, then you talk about him. You know, you compare him to those that came before him when he's gotten to his peak, not now, because he isn't in his peak now. So I don't feel it's a fair comparison. Karius is in goal. So Karius is in goal for Newcastle tonight at the Emirates. I'll tell you what, there'll be some erections now in that home changing room from those Arsenal forwards. Excuse, who's in goal? Karius. Why have you got an erection there, Martin? Calm it down. Well, let's wait and see. In other news, Erling Braut Haaland has been substituted and replaced by Julian Alvarez. Why is Arteta Lego Head? Is that a real question? Is that honestly, look at his head and hair and then look at the Lego characters from the movie and whatnot and then come back to me. He looks like a Lego man. That's what, again, you know, I look like fucking King Kong Bundy, but right, so I've got the lineups for you for the game, and don't forget 7:30 will be live on Top of the League. But so the lineup for Newcastle is Karius, Trippier, Schär, Botman, Livramento, Bruno Guimaraes, Longstaff, Miley, Almiron, Gordon and Isak. That is the Newcastle 11. On the bench, Gillespie, Lascelles, Ritchie, Barnes, Kraft, Hall, Murphy, Willock and Byrne. So that's the Newcastle team. Arsenal have gone for Raya, White, Saliba, Gabriel, Kiwior, Rice, Jorginho, Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli and Havertz. That's the Arsenal starting 11. Their bench, Ramsdale, Cedric, Elneny, Vieira, Nelson, Smith Rowe, Trossard, Nketiah and Gabriel Jesus. That is the Arsenal bench. Whitehammer, how are we, sir? Said Craig, I can see this Alonso stuff going the usual way. He's the one, the first choice. He's on his way, deal done. Now that the others just increase it, and then it'll be someone we never wanted him. I don't think so, because look at it this way, Whitehammer. Whatever you think and I think, at the end of the day, this is a decision that will affect the bottom line for FSG. It will affect the valuation of the club. It will affect their revenue streams. So I think it's in everybody's interest to put the right man in the place here. It's not like a player. A manager is a very, 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 very big character of the club. And I think, look, I may be giving them too much of the benefit of the doubt here, but I think they'll get it right. Because, you know, I've plenty of stuff to moan about our owners for, but putting the right people in the right roles, you know, let's be fair, they've usually done that quite well. Can I do a sort of watch along of that game, please? Which one? The Newcastle Arsenal one. We're doing it at 7:30 on top of the league, if that's the one you're talking about, mate. Alonso was the stealth one. Interesting. Am I going to do a watch along of the Newcastle match? Look at the top of the chat, Thierry, and you'll see a pinned link. And that's for the watch along of the Newcastle trip to Arsenal, which, yes, we will be doing from 7:30, my man. Is Erling Haaland overrated? Yes, he is. Now, that'll get twisted, clipped up, and people will say Craig said Haaland shit. Not what I said. Question was, is he overrated? For me, yes, he's overrated. The way the media speak about him at times, it's as if it's a formality he scores every week and turns up and wins finals for Manchester City, and that simply isn't the case. He is a good striker, scoring goals he should be scoring in a team that create an awful lot of chances. You know, but just like I said about Saka, in fairness to Haaland, nowhere near his peak yet, nor should he be. So, I think yes, at this point in his career, I think Haaland is overrated for how he's portrayed. Doesn't mean he's not a very good player, doesn't mean he isn't a superstar yet. But he isn't a Ronaldo, a Messi. He's not at that level for me until he starts grabbing finals and big games with the scruff of the neck and making a difference. And he hasn't done that yet for Manchester City. He scores tons of goals in bunches, but finals, you know, that's when you want the man to show up and be a difference maker, and quite simply, he hasn't been yet for them. Laughing over you saying Arsenal will be erect. That's simply not true. I said the forwards will be erect. Which, you know, let's be honest, if we were in the dressing room and we heard you're playing Karius today, lads, you know, it's red panty night, isn't it, for the forwards? And that's before we just get into the fact that they may also be erect because Karius is a good looking man. You know, we haven't even encountered that part of it yet. I'm just talking about the or I say this without getting cancelled, Craig, the aroma of goals in the air. Arsenal Newcastle predictions. (3-2) Arsenal. 3-2. And I'm being optimistic there because I want goals on top of the league, but I think Arsenal win it. I think they're better than Newcastle. But again, I said this earlier on, Newcastle have to get something from this game because they're falling further and further away from the chase and pack for those 4th and 5th places, which will most likely get you Champions League spots. Obviously 4th will, but 5th most likely. Josh Brayshaw, thank you, Josh, for gifting a membership. You're very kind, mate. So we did ask you, will Ted Lasso still be at Manchester United next season? We've had 500 votes so far, and it's close. I'm going to leave it up to the end of the stream because it genuinely is really close. 48% think Ten Lasso will still be at Manchester United, and 52% think he will be down the job centre. Josh, that membership, by the way, went to Lazatron TV. Thank you, mate. Bournemouth knocking on the door. You know, I don't know. You know, there's 8 minutes to go here, plus stoppage time. Still 1-0 to City. I expect City to see it out, but hey, you never know. It's the Premier League. They don't have anyone or a choice to replace Ten Hag. I think they'll stick with him. I will take your Ten Hag and have no one to replace him and raise you Thomas Tuchel, who I think could be a very credible option for Manchester United. You know, Champions League winner, B-Tech Klopp. Yeah, you know, I think he will be a more attractive proposition. And certainly I think would have more pull in the game. You know, you wouldn't see him going back for Anthony and paying over the odds for Tripe, really. Oh, come on, Bournemouth. Ball right across the front of the City 6-yard box, but it was overhit. Do you think Mo will be fit for tomorrow? I truly don't know. Like, I hope so. As long as if one of Mo or Darwin is fit enough to start, I'll be very happy. But I honestly have no idea what to expect at this minute. You know, you've got Paul Joyce saying that there's serious doubts, which I understand him saying that. You've got Linder saying they're close, it'll be a last minute decision. Here comes Kevin De Bruyne, by the way, for Manchester City with 6.5 minutes plus stoppage time to go. Sam Allardyce is free. Yeah, that could work for United, yeah. Bring in Sam and Steve Bruce together, just to double up, like. That's the dream. Maybe bring in Ollie as well. What about Szoboszlai? I'm expecting him not to be ready, Finlay. But again, Pep Linders did say it'll be close for him, Darwin and Salah. Maybe I'm wrong on this one, but I just think I'm not expecting to see Szoboszlai in the squad, but I'd be delighted if he was. Even if he is, though, don't see him starting the game. I think you'll see the same midfield that played the last game: Endo, McAllister, Gravenberch. That'll be my guess. Now, if Salah's fit, you might see Klopp go with Elliott in the right side of midfield if Salah's able to start. Ooh, another half chance there for Bournemouth. They're going to regret these. Why hasn't... I think you're trying to write by Cecic been playing. Injured. You know, calf injury amongst some others. It's been a very frustrating season, hasn't it? You know, I was really looking forward to seeing Stefan push on from how brilliant he was last year. And I hope we get to see him before the end of the season. I hope he gets back fit and gets a run of games back under his belt because, you know, he has a big part to play, I think, in our squad moving forward and looks a very talented young man. Rooney is free. Is he not going to be... Oh, by the way, I was watching IFL TV the other day and I nearly fell off my chair at the idea of Mr. Eddie Hearn talking about Wayne Rooney versus Jake Paul at Old Trafford. I'm not joking. Those words came out of Mr. Eddie Hearn's mouth. Wayne Rooney versus Jake Paul at Old Trafford. I'll fight him at Old Trafford. Eddie, I'll fight Rooney at Old Trafford. No problem. Fight him at Old Trafford. Fight him for the last bar of sausage in the chipper. But it would be... I mean, does anyone think he is going to actually take up the whole fighting thing? Are we going to see him on one of the KSI cards? The Misfits? I mean, if I was ever on the card, they'd have to change it from Misfits to Unfit. But yeah, I mean, be an interesting one. Wayne Rooney, Jake Paul. He doesn't need the money. Yeah, but I think he fancies a pop at it. You know, I think Rooney's always been a fan of boxing anyway. So, maybe he just wants to challenge himself one more time. For the likes of Rooney and that, they won't need the money, of course, but they are competitive men. They are competitive people, and maybe Wayne wants to just have one last competitive outing, before he goes back into failing at management. Rooney said on overlap he wants to focus on managing. He probably got a better chance with the boxing, to be honest with you. I find it very hard to figure out how Wayne Rooney's going to inspire a dressing room as a coach, honestly. Do you know what I mean, lads? You know what I mean? I don't know, it just doesn't strike me as a coach. Peppa the Pig, new United manager. Nice. Here comes Anthony. Hello, Daddy Pig. Hello, Mummy Pig. Don't worry, Birmingham got Wayne Rooney sacked. No, he didn't. No. Wayne said that he felt like he was never accepted by the fans, and that it was probably because the manager he got sacked for was actually doing a decent job, and then he came in and was shit, and they just didn't give him a chance. It's got nothing to do with the fact that they were in a decent position when he came in, and then they start falling away. No, it's just not fair on Rooney. But it doesn't matter though. If all else fails, he still has the ability to become a solicitor. Because remember, for the whole Wagatha Christie trial, Wayne was toying with the idea of becoming a solicitor. So, QC Rooney coming to a courtroom near you, perhaps. Do I see Salah Nunez in the squad tomorrow? Honestly, I don't know. I don't want to give you false hope, or I don't want to dash your hopes. I don't know. I feel we're likely to see Salah more than the others because the others still felt somewhat of an injury. But with Salah, it was fatigue and tiredness from coming back after the hamstring injury. So I think he's the most likely, is my educated guess on it. Tiger Claw said, amazing how much heartbreak City and Madrid have caused for Klopp. Could have had 3 Premier Leagues and 3 Champions League if it wasn't for those two. Yeah, but at least with Real Madrid, you're looking at a club that was genuinely building for success in the right way, somewhat. With Manchester City, we all know why it's frustrating. And it's not because we were beaten by them. It's because of why they got to where they are. So yes, I mean, I do often think back. 2-1 Bayern. There you go, 2-1 Bayern. I do often look back and think about what the football world might have been like if Manchester City... Bournemouth header wide of the post. 6 minutes to stoppage time in that game. Lads, City aren't all that. Can we be honest about this? I know people are all just kind of shitting in their pants about City, but let's look at their last 3 games here. A draw and a couple of 1-0 wins against opposition they should be beaten fairly easily. They are not the same beast that they were in recent years. And no matter how much the media try to make them out to be this big bad monster, I'm not seeing it. Any news about Ruben Amorim? Just that there was reports to say he's 2 and Nagelsmann's 3, or they're the other 2 that are being considered outside of Xabi Alonso. That's, and I get that. That makes total sense. They're 2 coaches that should be under consideration. So what have we got left? 10 minutes until we'll be over on top of the league, by the way. So if you want to join us for a watch-along of Arsenal versus Newcastle United, in a game, of course, that has a lot of interest for us as Liverpool fans, link at the top of the chat. The poll is still open, and we said, will Ten Lasso still be at United next season? And it's close. It's 49% against 51%. So we've got to be fair and leave that poll running. Man City are getting players back but losing form. We're losing players but maintaining form. I don't... I've seen City in other years, and you think they might do this. They might grind out 10, 12 wins in a row. And they've done it. I don't see the same calibre in them at the minute. You know? I feel like they're still a good team, don't get me wrong. And, you know, they have a great chance in the Champions League. And, of course, they have a great chance in the Premier League. But of the years we've been battling City, I think outside of the year we won the league, this is probably the worst version of them. Want to say thank you for the community you've created. Wife had to have an emergency surgery this past week, and the streams have really helped. Well, firstly, all of our love, best wishes and thoughts to your family, mate. And I hope that your wife's surgery went well, and I hope she'll be back home with you soon if she isn't already. That's priority as always. Family's most important. Look, I say it many times, and I'm going to say it again. Orc Boy, you know, people have been very kind and thanking us for the community and the streams and all, but I've told you as well, you guys have gotten me through a lot in times where I've needed it, and I've been low or lonely or sad or hurt or angry. So if we can help in any way, dude, that's what we're here for, you know. Appreciate you opening up with us. Appreciate you sharing, and I hope that your wife is back to full health as soon as possible. And as Mark said, yes, please do give her a hug from all of us, and we don't mean that, of course, in any type of underhanded way. But yeah, lots of love to you and your family, mate. I hope your wife's okay. But my wife, on the other hand, still not making the pancakes. She did offer to make me pancakes, to be fair, but I planned on eating them, so I said no. This City team would be cooked by 2020 Bayern. Craig, what would be your option if Manchester City... Craig, what would your option be if Manchester City went into administration? A party? A naked party? A naked broccoli eating party? I don't know. I don't know what to... overhead kick. Another wasted chance for Bournemouth. 90 seconds of stoppage time to go. I don't know what to expect, is the honest answer, from the City situation. I've tried not to even consider what the punishments may be, because I don't know. It's really unprecedented. Yeah, it's really unprecedented in the history of English football. So I've no idea we know what the standard or the punishments could be, but could be's aren't worth that, and we don't know what's going to be handed down. But I think the Premier League have somewhat hamstrung themselves by the 10 points deduction they gave to Everton for one or two breaches. So what can you do other than extrapolate that by 115? And I don't know, but I would imagine it would have to be severe. We're into the last 40 seconds here, so it looks like Manchester City are gonna... And you just kicked the fucking ball away. Where's his yellow card? Where's De Bruyne's yellow card for kicking the ball down the line when it was away for a throw? Oh, we got one. Fair play. Yeah, I mean... I hope we destroy them at Anfield, lads. Honestly, I'd love us to just put on a show and whoop them at Anfield. Bayern beat Leipzig 2-1, so they keep the race alive. Still 8 points in that Bundesliga title race. We're just about to get to the end of this one. And they've created so many chances and wasted. Sorry, I'm still just watching this here. That'll be the end of that. Ball's back with City. And it's over. Nope, sorry, I thought it was, but they're still playing. Yeah, City've won it back now. It's over. I mean, I didn't hope really for much from Bournemouth, but here they go on the counter. De Bruyne, he's tackled, and they're still playing. All eyes are on the referee here. 7 minutes of 6 minutes added on time. Throw in for City. Yeah, you've wrote full time twice there, McCrispy. Make your mind up, mate. It is all over. It is all over. Manchester City have beaten Bournemouth by 1-0 to move back to within 1 point of your leaders, Liverpool. And to end the poll, it's a 50-50 split. There's always 1% missing from a YouTube poll for some reason, but it showed me before we finished the poll 50-50 on whether Ten Lasso will be United manager next season or not. So, my friends, I'm going to say goodnight to you on this channel, but the link at the top of the chat will bring you over or redirect you to top of the league, where myself and Ben are going to be taking you through a watch along of Arsenal's game against Newcastle. Hope to see you over there in a couple of moments' time. Thank you for joining us. And don't forget, tomorrow, 2 p.m, we'll be live for the watch along, post-match show, player ratings, all the stuff you get on a match day with Anfield Agenda. And we'll either see you over on top of the league or I'll see you tomorrow. Much love. Bye-bye.